The Underground Collective presents Jupiter is the Loneliest Planet.
We would like to remind everyone that in light of recent acts of police brutality, we are hosting a raffle to raise money for Asada's Daughters, the Okra Project, and Good Kids Mad City, which are organizations dedicated to support and uplift Black lives.
The raffle prizes are various art and music commissions by our collective members, including a calligraphed original poem in the mail by Mozart,
A handwritten original poem in the mail by me,
a broadside of an original poem by Ashvini,
a recording of an original song or cover of any song of your choosing by just
a recording of an original song or any cover of your choosing by Kevin,
custom embroidery of any garment by Anna,
custom pixel art of any photograph by Felix,
virtual roller skating lessons by Yazud,
and 3 prizes of a feedback session from the entire collective for any poem or song you wrote.
Everyone who buys a raffle ticket will be invited to our virtual showcase after party. If you would like to participate in the raffle, you can Venmo at Underground Collective, one word. Each $5 is one raffle ticket.
We will close the raffle at the end of intermission, and we will be announcing the winners at the after party.
And lastly, we are a collective dedicated to creating safe space for all participants, so content warnings will be announced before each piece and listed in the description of the video. If you feel the need to leave during any performance, feel free to do so.
So this song is called Nassau County. Nassau County is where I'm from. It's on Long Island. It had the most COVID deaths per capita of any county in America. And it's just a place where people are reasonably well educated, but just choose to live in ignorance and vote against their own self-interest, and just live in fear of anyone who's remotely different from them, anyone who isn't an Italian or Irish American Republican with 5 cops in the family. I wrote this song after riding my bike to the park and just being the only person with a mask there and welling with hatred. The content warnings for this song are death and body horror and the COVID pandemic in general. It's called Nassau County.
In Nassau County, we live like worms. Guy from Celebrity Apprentice is the ruler of the world. And I hate my neighbors. I hope they all die. With their fat sagging faces and their empty dull eyes. The town gossips who walk their cross-eyed dogs, caught around their fat toddlers who grow up racist cars. They don't wear masks when they go outside. They don't wash their hands. They can't read or write. And I take some solace that when the flood comes, it will not spare them or anyone. Bodies pile up in refrigerated trucks. 1 in 600 nostril, can't stop and cold.
Send news and Snapchat, 'cause I'm not cold.
In Nassau County,
In Nassau County,
we live like worms.
in Nassau
Guy
County,
from Celebrity Apprentice
in Nassau County.
is ruling the world.
Fucking god damn it!
Hi everyone, I'm Felix, as a lot of you probably know, and this is my poem, Someday I'll Love Felix Lecoq. I wrote this poem over spring break when a lot of really terrible things happened in my life all at once, and it was like every day I got a new piece of bad news, and it was exhausting, you know, like it was like every day I was discovering a different type of grief. And I didn't have any energy to write anything, but the Underground Collective was doing the like one poem a day for a month, April writing month thing, and I was like, fuck, I gotta write a fucking poem, and it was day 2, and I wrote this poem, and I haven't made any edits to it really since. It was a poem I wrote for myself, by myself, in this like incredible loneliness. And it's probably the most self-indulgent thing I've ever written, but it's the one thing that I've written since then, so take it or leave it. This is my last Underground Collective showcase. Getting pretty emotional, thinking about all the good times I've had. I mean, I've been in this collective since my first year, and now I am literally graduated, but I really hope you enjoy this. I hope you take the time to look at our YouTube channel. You can see all of our past videos. Yeah, I know, Underground Collective Showcase has been virtual for a while. But yeah, so I'm gonna let the video play now. Someday I'll love Felix Lecoq. After Ocean Vuong, after Frank O'Hara, after Roger Reeves. Felix, be brave. You can already feel the nights grow shorter. The robin at your window whistles because it can hear the summer. You wake, wear your grief like yesterday's socks. Felix, are you listening? The only thing harder than the world ending is being the one who ends it. Here's the lake, with all the water still in it. Here's the keychain with all its broken teeth. Don't worry, just say, do you love me, and wait for the window to open. Here's the door. I promise there is anything on the other side. Here's the weather. Yellow, shine, a brighter kind of hurt. The afternoon spills onto the pavement. It smells like the opposite of dust. Here are the crocuses in the park outside your secondary school gate, growing feral with red glowing hearts. In America, they look like sisters. Don't be afraid. Your father might love you in the morning. Felix, Felix, come home. The only thing harder than this is everything that came before. Remember, exhaustion is the body's ritual at the brink of repair. Here's a recipe for waiting for the world to turn over in its sleep. Here's a jar of anchovies that only you will eat. Yes, here's the crack in your bedroom ceiling where the sky leaks in and ruins the party. Go to sleep, Felix. The flood will be there in the morning.
The title of my poem is November 2010, and the content warnings are family and death.
My brother said it was like you were there, sitting at the foot of his bed with your leopard print leggings on, a 5 cradled in your palm for Newports you don't need but will inhale anyways. Of course, he didn't say it to me, but I heard it from my mother, whose hands are rough and tongue is tied from the secret she's got tangled in her teeth. He said you were talking to him about what, I'm not sure, but I would imagine you asked him to drive you to the Fairfield Mall so you could walk through Macy's, smelling like Chanel number 19, in search of a faux fur coat or an heirloom that will burn because of a neglectful daughter. Or maybe you talked about how, after the war, you picked your pearls up one by one and sent your black baby boy to America. Or maybe you simply told him that aging is a bitch, and he would have said what Mitch always says, which is that if you're not getting old, you're not in the land of the living, and you would have laughed at the irony of it all. If I had known that you'd have stopped by, I would have asked him to ask you, am I as pretty as you thought I would be? Would you clutch your chest and look from side to side as if I were the rarest daffodil you'd ever seen? My parents say I look like you, and I've spent hours in the mirror rearranging my freckles, molding my nose, and adjusting my cheekbones just for it to be true. You can try, love, but I won't cry for you. But I will mourn for every fact I've manufactured just to feel close to you. The night you left, he and I were still small enough to burrow in our parents' bed, hiding from the winter to come. Did you visit him then? Did you kiss his temples, rub his head, then do the same to mine? Maybe one day he'll wake up with a dry throat, aching to be soothed, and immediately know it was not real. And maybe one day I'll stop scraping empty jars of strawberry jam to remember what it was like to be loved by you. This is how I see you now. Apricot skin, goldenrod hair, drawn neatly in a bun, static and concentric, with eyes that follow me no matter where I go. You look at me and say, we can't keep doing this, Annie. I know. I know what a privilege it is to have held you hostage.
Hi, my name is Ashvini. This next piece is called Fire Escape. There are content warnings for injury and body horror. And it is a piece about 2 things that really happened and 2 things that did not happen. That's all. I hope you enjoy. Once, when I was 8, I stood on top of the fire escape at my best friend's house, and I knocked on her window to say hello for so long that the fire escape cracked underneath me and I fell through to the wood chips. It was a 6 to 10 foot fall, and at the time I was just over 4 feet tall, and I remember hitting the ground and looking up at the sky and thinking about how nice it was to finally be at a lower place. No one tells you that the worst part about puberty is constantly getting things you never asked for. In many ways, I was happy at 4 feet at the bottom of the fire escape, but my best friend's dad raced downstairs to find me scraped and bleeding in the basement and carried me out of the woods. Once, when I was 21, I stood at the top of the highest place I could find. It was the 3rd floor of my apartment building. The ground of my room was made of concrete, and it crumbled beneath me like moon sand, and I fell through the earth all the way to Jupiter. It was hot on the way down. There was no breeze, and the loneliest parts of me were swallowed by a giant red spot. My eczema flared up in that vacuum. My steroid cream fell out of my pocket when I was still standing in the highest place. And now I could feel my pancreas revolting. Now I could feel my appendix ejected. No one tells you that the worst part about turning 21 is feeling useless when you pretend to drink champagne for the first time. What is the point of the fresh view? I hate not having any more baby teeth. Those were so easy to lose and so exciting and so small that I hardly have any pictures of when they weren't there, only photos of wide smiles before braces. Once, for about a month in 11th grade, I felt like my insides were being squeezed to ashes inside my chest. I woke up in the middle of the night and my jaw was shrieking in pain, and my heart felt like it was going up in smoke, like that episode of Once Upon a Time where the evil queen squished Snow White's heart and it disintegrated. My mother said, that maybe if I would have listened when she told me how to stop organs from growing, I wouldn't be in this situation. She said, "My lungs have been the same size since I was 16 because I was smart about my salt. And I put a ceramic mold around anything that could be squeezed, and I haven't felt any pain since."
Hi, I'm Yazud,
I'm Anna.
and we wrote this poem called Dream Baby. It's about having dreams, about having babies, and the content warning for it is childbirth. Dream Baby. Every month, at least once in a dream,
I am buying capers at the grocery store,
or practicing conversations in the shower,
or Swiffering the living room, when somehow I end up with a baby. Here is the middle school gymnasium, with the mats spread out across the floor. I think their salty smell is stinging, still damp with sanitization, but I feel unclean, with my legs up, with all the girls I've ever cried for, lying by my sides, feet, head, and all of us pushing. He comes out plastic. They don't teach us how to love him, only how to have him.
Here is a dark supermarket. Here we are surrounded by frozen processed food and change. I am not sure how he happened, but I think my best friend doesn't lie. I think he's trying to be kind, but sounds like a refrain of duty. I think I want to scream, but the familiarity of a dark stocked food line aisle is drowning me in apathy. I know it's too late here to talk about the future, but no one wants to wait for you to grow up, not even something that grows inside you. Sometimes you don't know how to talk about the future, only how to plan for him.
So I will wash his hair with a plastic cup.
I will kiss his fingers and toes one by one,
I will teach him to dance on the triangle rug,
and I will hold him.
while tearing up about the time I made the life of a dying woman hell.
I will hold him.
While in class, and everyone will be pretty chill about it.
I will hold him.
While walking to a CTA stop. Together we'll see alpacas nearby in winter.
I'll almost slip on ice. And I will take him on walks on whichever trail the wind says is safest. This way I'll teach him instinct and intuition.
I'll let him cry when he trips on roots. Tell him the trees said they're sorry, but not sorry for growing.
I will warn him about how sometimes men cause pain.
It will feel the same as always, only this time with wine on my tongue.
I will not tell my sister that I am not his mother, but I don't want him to cry.
I don't want him to stand in a spinning room with his friends gone.
I don't want him to hate me.
I don't want him.
Those of you who have come to an underground collective showcase before know that I usually write songs. But this next piece, Cross Sleeves, is a poem that I wrote. It's loosely based on my best friend, my roommate. So when I was in high school, I didn't really have many best friends, or any at all. And when I came to college, I formed really great and really close relationships with these people. And this best friend, my roommate, when COVID hit in March and we all had to move home early, just her leaving the apartment and us saying goodbye to each other when we were very used to seeing each other every day, was a very emotional experience. So this is loosely based on that, obviously partially fictional, and just exploring the idea of what happens when you lose your identity for someone else's, and the ways we enter and exit each other's lives and the impacts we make. And sometimes one of us changes, but the other isn't there. So this is Crossley's. I wrote the background music for it as well, and I hope you enjoy. I like to think you would not color your hair tips around anyone else, even after all this time. In a mustard sweater and knee-high socks tucked into Converse, you were effortlessly nonchalant, and I swallowed my laugh to turn it into yours. You rest the needle on the disc so there is space between concentric circles for panic attacks and crumpled Ziploc bags. But even as you turn your back to water the rosemary, I stare at the needle bobbing in its groove, tracing circles like seawater ripples. You were a blinding catastrophe, and I wanted to be consumed in circles around you. On the rare occasion when I couldn't be myself, when your fingertips grew rigid, when I laid your body across my bed like a tapestry, I whispered to you of the birth of polyphony, how church musicians could see nothing but their own breath on the page and the space stretching from their fingers to Bethlehem and the end crawling closer and closer and closer, and then notes were stacked vertically and they forgot to stop counting. So time sat up and started walking again. It was only during these times that your features slid across your little face like molten wax, and I tried to remember you by the pictures. What I do remember is the sliced apples and peanut butter when you woke up. See, I tell you, the evening will never outrun us, but if it does, we will drag our tired toes down the hallway, flying past vertical fluorescent lines and peeling wallpaper to the light pulsing where our bedrooms ended, and find the needle where we left it, the rosemary wilted, the Ziploc bags long gone. When your mother finally came in the late afternoon, wide-set hips and a red moving cart, I sat in the hallway with the 1/3 of us that was left and cried as I peeled my fingertips next to the wallpaper, because I had never had something like this. By the time I can breathe around you, when the war is over and there is no more blue light between us, your hair is already purple. It suits you well.
Hi, I'm Anna. This is my intro for my poem Mirror Mother. This is a poem about my grandmother who sadly passed away recently, so we have content warnings for death in this poem. And yeah, shout out to the wonderful, multi-talented Felix for composing and performing the music that is in the background, and enjoy. Mirror Mother. The latest, though, suggests that while time moves forward in our universe, it may run backwards in another mirror universe that was created on the other side of the Big Bang. Nova 2014. And so, on the other side of the Big Bang, we must make sense of things. While I unchew my nails, my grandmother is born peacefully on a little bed with side rails. It is springtime. It is Easter. She is born in the empty shadow of St. John the Divine. She is tied inexplicably to progeny. She learns how to love us. We wipe soup from her chin. She calls for her mother. She learns how to walk. When the air gets warm, she goes slowly around the block. She watches the red leaves levitate and kiss their shivering branches. On this side of things, death is Russian dolls. You stack them after playtime. You don't always remember when last you stacked them, and so her stomach unblooms. She cries incessantly. She eats pickles from the deli next door. Her husband gets down on one knee, and so things between them fizzle out. To
say goodbye, they trade chamber music on a 45 RPM. It doesn't hurt because now she is beautiful, and every man in Ocean Parkway wants her. But on this side of things, my grandmother forgets how to cook. Her mother wipes soup from her chin. Still, she is smart, our mirror mother. She is smart like we are. She makes sense of things, like we do. She says, look, the world is ending. The bridges are unbuilding themselves. She says, we are between wars. I know this because I have seen it, and smelt the sour sweet fumes from the automobiles, and read it in my fever dream textbook. She says, look, maybe it is time for me to go.
This is my song, I Am Trying to Get Over You, Content Warnings for Blood. I don't usually write songs, but I wrote this one, so here it is. I'm so bad at recording intros.
With my friends, you are snoring in the tent next to me. I am trying to get over you. Pine needles and the sea. We go swimming underwater. We meet your boyfriend. I have not seen him since high school. I must say he looks kind of different without the black eye I gave him. Love and water and the beach. We go swimming in the parking lot. When we're leaving, you decide to summon a demon. I find it funny when I am bleeding, but you never laugh at my jokes anymore, Your lips are blue and I want to kiss them. Everything's colder in the air. You are sleeping, you are so close to me. I am trying to get over you.
That was better.
We're going to take a brief 10-minute intermission now. Feel free to get a drink of water or just hang out in the Zoom call.
Just as a reminder, we will be closing the raffle at the end of the intermission.
Welcome back. This song is called Black Hole. I got a text once that said, "You're a black hole," and it had a period at the end of it, so it was pretty intense. And then I wrote this song about a different person.
I had a dream. Keep having dreams about you. Nothing huge, just little ones. I get a text from you. Wake up and it's not there. I see you at a stoplight. I see you everywhere. If I ran into you again, would it be so dead by then that you could introduce us? That your eyes wouldn't be off somewhere else? One day we're gonna get it right. One day we're gonna get it right. One day we're gonna get it right. One day we gotta get it right. 'Cause this is not something we can kill. If it hasn't gone away by now, it never will. And if you don't know by now, you'll never have to worry about losing me to somebody else. If you don't know by now, you'll never have to worry about losing me to somebody else. When I'm with her and you're with him, just say the word and I'll be yours again. When I'm with her and you're with him, just say the word. Just say the word. When I'm with her and you're with him, just say the word and I'm yours again. 'Cause you're a black hole and you suck up all the light in the room. Your eyes are always tugging me towards you. I don't care how you treat me, just keep looking at me and I'll keep feeling lucky. You're the black hole and I'm lucky to know. You're the black hole and I'm lucky to know. You're the black hole and I'm lucky to know. You're the black hole and I'm lucky to know. Just keep looking at me and I'll keep feeling lucky. I had a dream.
Hi everyone, this is Mimansa. My poem for this showcase is called Saturnalia. I'm accompanied on the guitar by Kevin. To give some context, Saturnalia was the Roman festival celebrating the god Saturn, also known as Kronos in Greek mythology. And Saturn/Kronos was a god of harvest, of time, and of old age. And I was thinking a lot about these concepts because I just graduated from college and this is my last underground collective showcase ever, so I wanted to write a poem about growing up. And yeah, there are no content warnings for this piece. Thank you.
This poem is called Saturnalia. 6 years ago, I was standing in the parking lot of our suburban high school. The year was slowly waning, and the moon came up earlier and earlier. And that's why, at 5 p.m., everything was cast in indigo. And under these stained skies, you walked out of band practice with me, and you saw your first ever boyfriend standing in the amber circle of the street lamp, and you ran up to him and kissed him. I was leaning on your Subaru and enthralled. We don't have fireflies in Seattle, but I remember little flecks of electric gold swirling around your heads as you kissed. You both bloomed daffodil yellow and full, your cheeks red like the height of cherry season. As the sky moved from twilight to night, and you went for another kiss with your hand at the back of his head, I realized that you probably forgot you were going to give me a ride home, so silently turned onto the street and walked away. 2 months later, when you broke up, you scoffed when I told you my mind's image of that night. You both were the only gay boys at our school. Of course you would try to date each other, you said. I saw your love light fragmented in the broken mirror of your eyes. There are no fireflies in Seattle. I never understood the metaphor for harvesting one's chastity until I heard you describe being deboned, chewed, and spit out, and the sound of the cherry seed ricocheting against the trash can rang true in my ears. Kronos, Father Time, Saturn of the wedding rings, sings to us sometimes of being discarded. He lays his wizened body next to the heartbeat of the earth and trails his fingers through the golden ore. When Kronos wants something from you, he cups his hands together and the tips of his horns glow bronze. Saturn, the anglerfish of our skies. He makes sure he gives us time, too much time, to ponder the consequences of our hasty decisions. The fireflies understand him because they too glow in the pitch. While I was standing by your Subaru, watching you press your face into the crook of your boyfriend's neck, Kronos spoke in urgent warning. There are so few people who are loved, he said. I turned my gaze inwards and I felt tart and sweet on my tongue. For the first time, I knew that one day I would taste regret. Pits of cherries and pits of Tartarus, they both sing black and are brimming with potential. As I walked home, the sky grew thick. Saturn turned and pitched left. I pulled the stem of the cherry from between my teeth and shuddered. The next day I woke up and discovered I had grown hips. They curved like the edges of a scythe. I felt dangerous, and Kronos' warning faded from my flushed mind. I saw my first firefly in Chicago 6 years later, 9 p.m., and I was walking home from lab. The rose light of the late summer sun burst into fractals when it hit the sweat on my skin. I turned a corner, and there it was. It flickered gold and amber, the last remaining wealth of Father Time. The lightning bug delicately hung 2 feet in front of me, blinking as I stared. It asked me, "Did you ever find what you were looking for?"
This poem is called Corin Dreams by me, Ashvini, Yasud, and Zoe. And we have a content warning for marriage. Every now and then,
My dreams. I get married.
in a church,
To a white man. In a white dress.
my 9th grade science teacher peers at the end of the aisle.
I think he might be officiating.
I carry a bouquet of flowers.
The type I can't recall.
There is no wedding thing.
No organist with readers slipping down their nose as they glance over sheet music they have but don't need.
Because every note is muscle memory.
And still, I am just 20.
My parents are not disappointed, but I am.
In my dream, I ended up with 10 puppies that all look like the dog from Beethoven.
They slept in my room, and 2 of them could talk.
I could not handle the responsibility of dogs.
A day passed where I had forgotten to give them food and water, and when I went back to my room, I couldn't find them.
I thought they had turned into dragonflies.
It turned out they were just so tiny.
In my dream, I inexplicably ended up in an arranged marriage that I didn't have time to cancel.
I tried to escape when I saw 2 girls from my creative writing class.
And we went to a bathroom and had to keep washing our hands over and over.
I am made to raise a child that didn't exist until a few seconds ago.
In this dream, I still don't notice the repeating plotline.
Dreamy, still seeking white boys with hero complexes and familiar softness.
The ones that could never be angry until they are.
This time, I'm in a love triangle with Finn Hudson from Glee and another white girl.
I don't remember her name.
In my dreams, I am saving people who don't make sound decisions.
While navigating espionage and the foreign feeling of being drowned by wealth.
In my dream, you are both here and not here, a footnote without a superscript.
In my dream, you are here affectionless and beside me as we do pull-ups.
Your hair is still long and strawberry blonde.
Your voice is deeper than I remembered, or not speaking at all.
In my dream, you are here at the round table in your uniform with a beard, and we are not young anymore.
All 3 of us are mulling over the implications of this on a grassy hill. Now,
they're swarming around us with their iridescent wings and vibrating bodies.
An expressionless man still sits between us.
He really should have chosen me already.
Dragonflies are a symbol.
I'm still noticing cucumber and lemon juice appearing in the fridge.
And stolen sunsets behind pointed trees.
And skating around tennis courts as the sky expands.
I know this is the dream where we're waiting for mutual love.
All 3 of us together.
Sitting facing a dream camera.
I blink, hoping to wake up.
Hi, my name is Ashvini, and this next piece is called Slow Questions, and it's me reading the poem and Justine doing the just like incredibly beautiful chords in the background. This piece has no content warnings. It's about questions that you would ask slowly, I suppose, and yeah, I'm just really glad that Justine could be a part of this. It was a part of my poetry minor portfolio, and I always kind of envisioned it having music in the background, and so I'm really grateful that Justine lent her voice to this. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Do you smell like this always? Do you ever call high school friends? Did you ever ask your mom about the time she was pregnant? Do you think I smell like juice? Did you ever make Kool-Aid? Do you think we could hold hands, or is that too sticky? Have you done this before? Have you ever kissed a girl? Have you ever let light drip onto your nightstand? I am asking for your hand. I am asking to squeeze it. I am asking to pour it like juice.
The neon dimension is revolting and becoming. I'm so wobbly, loose and scattered, my brain matter against the walls, my lungs are floating away from the hardwood and out the window. My heart stuck in silence rolling. Slow like the air became jello, my eyes glued to the ceiling, seeing the world. Forfeiting my body to the electric light, it's new and psychedelic. It's one where I stop lying about the fantasy of me. One where I find myself in the high contrast. One where every color is as vibrant as my achy, ending organs, all flapping to the beat of survival. I'm so fragment. I see my ideal self in my dreams, and it happens to be all the girls I've ever fallen in love with, all bold neon orange, radiating off their bodies, all pink lips, all unapologetic. My body stopped being a body and started being a party. Finally, it listens. And they are all rolling and crying and bopping back and forth to Kendrick's All Right because, well, it is. I'm finally shedding this dimension, Mommy. All this silence cage apathetic skin. I'm not losing my parts, I'm not. They're just becoming everything I wanted to be, which is all the things that no one would let me be. Listen, it's the wailing brown body becoming the universe they've been holding inside for so long. I'm so itching to tear space, have all of its colors pour over me. My body finally gave me consent not to be a single being, Mommy. Do you know what this means? I'm still your little girl, just inside out. Call me Yasud only in Spanish. Feel the way the tongue wants to whistle. Feel how sound eases, expands, then contracts, tongue running out the mouth and leaving saliva on the multicolored rug. Like ongoing presents, Mommy. Don't be scared. I can't talk right now, Ma. My parts won't stop leaving iridescent blood on the floor. And they said, fuck yourself, you clean it up. And they remind me they are here. They have been screaming, but now all they want to do is dance. It's hold someone. It's tell them it will be okay just like it has always been. I'm so good. All while I smell my kitchen on fire. In this world, everyone moves with their past self following them, some slow motion type of love. Inescapable. In this world, we are all friends and laughing about the time that white girl compared their spray tan to my complexion. Now the floor is rising with us. Now we are finally going to where we deserve to be, which is love. And love this. This feeling hanging to my throat and at the pit of my stomach. The one that says we are being consumed by all the colors that haven't been loved hard enough. Now I'm so loud. I'm so going to kiss my own pumping heart later. Gosh, this bright red soft bitch has done too much. Like pound and keep pounding, like make me follow my dreams, and the bright yellow is blinding, but I can't look away. The clouds look like blue purple cotton candy vortex, and everyone who told you heaven is white is lying. And we are finally in my Lisa Frank dream, finally somewhere that is what we are. Where contradictions holler for attention, where surrealism reveals the truth about the world, and here I'm so lost. And later, my legs will walk back to me, after all the bass stops blaring, after we are sure that everything will keep ending, coming to life.
Once a man told me all about it. How we grow crystals on the margins of our bells, calcium sulfate and cells floating, how we learn up from down. I don't know. What I know is my cousins are immortal. Sometimes they invade nuclear reactors for sport, and one evening they got bored and took the lights out and was on. What I know is I am beautiful. I am bioluminescent, and on the beach, your mother tells you not to touch me.
Once a man told me all about it. How to crush wood, then metal, then bodies.
Every squid is a carnivore, every heart is a triplet. If you were the captain of a boat, I would sink it, hug it to my underwater chest until it spat out all its bubbles, my tentacles yellow, like singing, like the sun. If your plane fell in the Pacific, I would let it rust. The fastest thing without a spine, I breathe the ocean, I watch you die.
Once a man told me all about it, how I am a refugee on my own planet. I have kissed the waters of every ocean, bathed in the turquoise sunlight of the Bahamas, and dived in the inky black of the Mariana Trench. We are migrant animals, our history spanning from sea to land and back to shining sea. The cold-blooded fish and sharks know that I am 2 steps left of them. My body carries a memory of the land, for sometimes I look at you with your tiny boats, and my bones smell the damp earth of the prairie. To think that I have the same bloodline as those who harpoon me. They strip my fat and crawl through my arteries, and sleep in the ventricles of my heart.
If your boat docked in a harbor, I would tear that shit up. Twist the pier into splinters, wood falling into water like synchronized swimmers. I'll go Godzilla on your coastal town, grab your neighbors, swallow them with my squid maw. No family is safe when I rampage. I'm queering continental drift by drowning it. I'm opening up the land to be filled. All those sweet buildings by the beach, I'm dragging them down with me. I'm shattering the sand. I'm taking storm by America. My squid gut is a liminal space, an intestinal party. You're all invited. Welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the end of your world. I'm Armageddon with 10 arms. I'm director of the downward spiral. Sit the fuck down. I'm rocking your boat. It's shaking in the water. I'm curling into fists. I'm raising you to the sky so you can see the beach. I let you fall. You're choking on the salt with all your cotton candy dreams.
All things come together at the end of time. My teeth have been lost. They are gentle and baleen. I refuse to eat anything that I can see. So I will bring my ocean gentleness back to the land. I will break the craggy mountains against my yielding flesh. I will whittle down the jagged skyscrapers with my filtered mouth. The landscape will roll smooth and undulating like the slopes of my spine. The forested reefs will hold our large and small bodies. The sea of grass will no longer be littered with the points of houses. We will swim in the green blades instead, pushed and pulled by the tides of the wind.
And while the piers splinter and the skyscrapers turn to glitter, I will watch. Because in 1991 we were launched into space. We multiplied, space babies, tiny tendrils, unfurling in microgravity childhood. Sure, sometimes we got jealous, watching the seas rise without us, witnessing the unfinished work of our destruction. The men will not admit this, but they could not bring us back into their oceans. We got seasick, with dizzied unbelonging. We forgot how to keep ourselves upright. We could only come for visits, Dramamine-doped and droopy-eyed, and when we do, we like to scare them. Sometimes they mistake us for UFOs. We make our way back to the stars, and we laugh about it.
If you stuck around until the end, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's come to our virtual showcase. It really means a lot to all of us. This final piece is a song I wrote called Heaven, a content warning for religion. It's about the apocalypse, because what would the Underground Collective be if we didn't talk about the apocalypse? Have a great night. Take care of each other. Remember to come to our after party if you bought a raffle ticket. This is Heaven.
I don't fall asleep so easy. Scared I'll lose myself in dreams. I forget things all so quickly. Won't you paint a brighter picture for me? When the world is ending, who do we blame? Your poetry won't be enough to save. face to face. God knows you're sorry, you don't have to say. Oh, I'm stubborn as my mother. Will pass my worst on to my daughter. Milk and coffee in the morning. Apocalypse won't change a thing. You're waiting to catch me at the altar. The church falls first when there's disaster. Got lost on my way to some heaven. It looked so different than expected. Oh, I'm stubborn as my mother. Will pass my worst on to my daughter. Milk and coffee in the morning. Apocalypse won't change a thing. There's gonna be an answer someday. I'm gonna find my heaven someday. There's gonna be disaster someday. I'm gonna find my heaven someday. We're gonna drown ourselves someday. I'm gonna find my heaven someday. There's gonna be an answer someday. I'm gonna find my heaven someday. I'm gonna find my heaven someday. I don't fall asleep so easy. Scared I'll lose myself in